So, hey, Omena Heads, I'm Lucy, and Amado is a lot tonight. I have the pleasure to interview Kenny Money, the singer of Sanity's Rage and Tensor. So, welcome, Kenny. Thanks for the
Thanks.
interview. And my first question is,
Pleasure to be here.
sorry? And can
I
I?
said it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, Nothing Sacred Will Hold, lyric video and single of Sanity's Rage was released
Yeah.
some weeks ago, having you, Kenny, behind the productions of the video as well. So, how has been the feedback of the video so far? And could you speak more about the production of it and also about the single, of course?
Well, as you introduced me, I'm both a visual artist and a musician. So whenever I get a concept for a song, I always visualize it as well. So it's difficult for me to give it to someone else and make the lyric videos, make the videos, make the artwork for the CD. So the process comes very natural for me. When I get an idea, I envision it first and then I write about it. So making a video is a very natural process. The only problem is getting things aligned in timing so we can release both the video and the music at the same time. Means a lot of work, but it's worth it in the end. We get good feedback on both the song as well as the video, because there's been a gap of about 10 years between our last release and the both singles, because it's the second one we did already. But yeah, people are quite excited, so it's really nice to feel after being away for so long that the name of the band is still going and people still like what we do now.
Great. And you are working on a new Sanity's Rage album. If so, could you give us some more details?
Well, we decided to take it song by song, just to show we're back, and we are going to take our time to finish things up as we go along. We set it's not a fixed schedule, but we set a timing of about 3 months between every new release, and whenever we feel like we have enough to release the full album. But that's the only requirement we have for ourselves. It has to be a full album. We're not going to do an EP or half an album or splits or anything. It's going to be a full album. A full album, a follow-up to the last one. Also because there was so much time in between, and because the trend nowadays is mainly to have it digital. So we want to do a physical release as well, but then it has to be worth it for the fans to buy it too. So full package, artwork for an extra, but we have the time to do it. And meanwhile, we're releasing the songs digitally, so the fans can enjoy new stuff from time to time.
Okay. And
now I didn't give you any titles and I didn't give you any details, but that's
because
we want to keep it to ourselves. But so we'll release them as we go along. Yeah, it has to remain a little mystery too.
Okay, all right. So do you have any plans to play live with Sanity's Rage soon? And which are Sanity's Rage plans for the future? So we already know about the album a little bit.
Yeah. Well, the time we stopped in 2016, we were actually doing quite well. We were about to play Metal Days, which I considered was going to be our big break and get us to even bigger gigs and bigger stages. Unfortunately, that couldn't happen. I had to cancel and the band fell apart afterwards. So our biggest goal is now to get things rolling again and to get on a decent level like we were back in the day. It started out quite well. We're playing with Cyclone, one of the biggest trash bands in Belgium, in April, and we're quite confident that that will get us some interesting gigs afterwards as well. But things are picking up rather slowly because if you've been out of the scene for so long,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you have to prove yourself again. You have to show people that you're around. A lot of younger guys don't even know the band. Yeah, which is quite normal too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, first spotlight, first get the name going again, and then we'll see how it goes. But um, considering we've been around for 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
we we have big ambitions.
Okay. Good. You are a designer, a visual artist
Mhm.
behind the Black Molly design. So, what kind of artworks
Ja.
gives you more fun or pleasure to work with?
Ha. Uh, Black Hole Designer started in 2013 after I quit my corporate job. I went to work for 6 years in a full suit with a tie and a clean shirt every morning.
Really?
Um, and yeah, that's still my main business to get money in. Um, but I also do the same stuff, but in a different context for my bands, for other bands. And that of course is much more interesting to do because it's the the subjects I find my own inspiration. Um, but it's also fun to work for a whole range of different customers too in a more conventional
Mm-hmm.
setting. Last time I did um, the greeting cards for a kid's party, and I turned him into Darth Vader in a whole sci-fi setting, and the kid was so excited he came to thank me in person, and that gave me great pleasure as well. So it's fun as a designer that you can make people's fantasies come to life and then see the result and blow them away.
Nice. Okay. So it seems your art goes through music towards graphic arts, or is it the opposite?
Mhm.
And how are your inspirations for your artwork, or which are your inspirations for your artwork?
Well, if you consider the lyrics and the stuff I sing about, it depends from band from for both bands. It's a bit different.
Okay.
With Sanity's Rage, they give me full liberty.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's usually stuff that pisses me off in society and in human interactions and my day-to-day life. A lot of the songs I wrote about on the previous album were from my corporate setting, where I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really like the way of treating people that I saw in big business mentality. So that gave me inspiration every day. But I also write about the condition of the world, the injustice I see. With Tensor, it's a bit different because we stated some ground rules. I wasn't going to sing about religion,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't going to take any politics sides. That was that was expressed very early from Jeroen, the guitarist founder's point of view. He wanted to keep it more general and not too specific. which is a
Okay.
nice exercise for me too to
Mm-hmm.
change subjects. So on that level and also many other levels, my two hands are really different, and that gives me the possibility to express myself in my full range of interest
Okay.
that inspires me. And my personal artwork, my visual artwork, um, that's just what I feel like at the moment. Sometimes it's fantasy, sometimes it's horror. There's often a slight erotic touch to what I do too, especially um, with women and models. But sometimes I feel like going full hardcore horror, and then I pull open my box of blood and gore, and I can play with that. So there's really no limits to what I can and want to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good. So now speaking about Tensor, do you have any news to share with us
Mhm.
about the band? I know that there was some changes on the lineup. So are you recruiting new musicians? How
Well,
is it going?
um, the lineup change was temporary. We had
Okay.
someone who stood in for our bass player Nikki, who was pregnant at the time, and she is she's a full professional, full-time musician. So
Oh,
different is also a classical music teacher. And she knows from colleagues that performing and um, practicing in confined spaces can do um, serious or minor damage to the to the hearing of a child who is still developing. So she didn't want to do any metal gigs or
oh,
especially band practices in a confined space, and keep it fully safe for her child. And afterwards, evidently, when you're a mother too, if you just had a baby, you first of all need to recover, and you have to
yeah.
spend time with your kid. It's only logical. So Olivier, who is now full-time bass player for Splendidula, um,
Oh,
he he fell in and took on the duties for a couple of months, because we had some big gigs scheduled. And now at this point, after November, I think was the last gig at Pluto Fest, things have slowed down a bit because there's still some family priorities for several of the band members. So we
okay.
decided to just keep it to writing, work on the new album, and
Okay.
put the live aspect a bit on the background for now, which doesn't mean Tensor is has stopped. We are
Okay.
fully active, but not in a very present way at the moment.
Okay.
It's also the way we work with that band. No pressure. What comes comes. If we have the time,
Okay.
not to
Hmm.
put any stress on anyone.
Of course.
Um, if it's a luxury you can afford, then you should take it. It also means less stress for everyone, and let the creativity come as
Hmm.
it comes.
Hmm.
So that's the reason there wasn't much news in the last couple of months. But rest assured, we're still alive. We're still going on, and you'll see something pop up very soon, I think.
Okay, great. Good to hear that. All right. So now tell me, what are your main metal influences as a musician, singer?
Me personally, like many, I started with hard rock when I was a kid. I was as well was really young when I started, between 6 and 9. I asked my mother if I could grow my hair, after I heard Alice Cooper and the early Guns N' Roses. Then I evolved a bit when thrash came along. I'm a kid of the 80s, so I got both the Metallica, Megadeth, but also being European, the Creator and the German thrashers. But when I started puberty, I went two ways, and that was the Swedish scene. So at the Gates, the section, but I was also very much into My Dying Bride, Paradise Lost, and new the new road of doom metal that was trying to find its personality, and I also find a very interesting scene at that
Mm-hmm.
time. So deep lyrics, very elaborate musical compositions, then took priority over the hard and heavy thrashing metal vibe, and both influences kind of stuck over the years, and I think formed my own way of expressing myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, nice. And which are your influences besides metal? I mean, other kinds of music, if there's one.
Um, I had an uncle and an aunt in the 80s who were very much into new wave. So um, started with the Sisters of Mercy, The Cure, um,
Mm-hmm.
things like that, and then it evolved with a boyfriend my elder sister had, who was very much into electronic music.
Yeah.
So then we went dark wave, industrial, um, and yeah, over the years that scene exploded too and went many different ways, which I follow a bit as well. And I make it it's sort of an unspoken rule. Whenever I'm in writing mode, I don't want to copy any other bands.
Mm-hmm.
So I just write from a mood, and it's often the music I listen to when I write for metal. I don't listen to metal.
Oh.
Just to get
Mm-hmm.
myself in a sort of
Mm-hmm.
mindset.
Okay.
Then I can focus on the riffs and the music my musicians send me, and
Okay.
just tell my story on the riffs I hear, and that's the only metal that's played at that moment, and it
Uh,
works well, and it's kind of a routine I stick to.
mm-hmm. It makes sense, yeah. Good. And now I have a situation for you, and this situation is huge
Hmm.
expected here, Marisol. Also, imagine that you are a bad guy and had life imprisonment as a sentence, and you can have nothing with you but three albums that you are going to listen for the rest of your life, because one of the guards of the prison is a nice guy and gave you them as a gift. So which albums would you choose and why, if there's a reason?
Turn Loose the Swans, My Dying Bride, because it has everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
pure emotion, it's doom, it still has the death metal vibe going as well. Lyrically, it's beautiful, and it never gets old. It's one of the albums that will probably be played until I'm old and demented and don't understand what he's saying
Yeah.
anymore. Um, Another one would be there's so many. Um, I'm a big Nick Cave fan as well.
Okay.
But that's for personal reasons. I started to listen to Nick Cave in 2015 when my wife went into a coma,
Okay.
and he really got me through a very dark period in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's still one of the singers, when I hear him, I will start crying. and it's it's very emotional for me, but it's in a good way as well. So I'll
Okay.
probably take Push the Sky Away with me as well.
Okay.
And um, I would probably need a happy album as well because I'm in prison for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Mm. No, there's a bootleg
Mm,
LP I got from my uncle I told you about, and I
mm,
started to listen to the Sisters of Mercy when I was very young with a bootleg LP that was called Knocking on Heaven's Door, where they did the most badly recorded but
mhm,
perfect version of the very famous song. And it's one of the darkest performances of their better known songs as well. So yeah, that one too.
Okay,
And I would be a
great.
happy person in prison, but I'm in prison, so who
Yeah,
gives a
so
fuck?
yeah.
I'm not happy. No one has to be happy.
For sure. All right. And to finish our interview, so would you like to leave a message to your fans who are watching us?
Yeah, first of all, don't follow the trends. Follow your feeling. Follow what music does for you, and stick to that feeling. So don't think in genres. Don't think in bands. There are so many metalheads that
Mhm,
start to comment on a band that changes his style. They comment on styles. You should listen to this. You should listen to that. I stopped listening to that band after their first 3 albums because they fucked up afterwards. Fuck all that. Bands can play what they want. People can listen to what they want.
mhm,
Music is a feeling, and both for the listener as the performer, you have to follow that feeling. So I hope in both my bands, with Tensor, we are still developing ourselves. So I hope we can speak to people. People will take an effort to follow us, and we can connect on a certain level. And for Sanity's Rage, being away so long, I hope we still resonate with the fans. We can convince new people of our music. And as far as my artwork goes, follow me, work with me, buy my stuff, work together with me. We can do um, pretty things together. We can do fun stuff together and have fun. Have fun with art. Express yourself and support people who express themselves.
for sure. Great. Great. All right. So that's it. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you all for
Right.
watching
Thank you.
us and stay happy.
Stay heavy.